Hi, this is Alexandra Joy Smith on Alexandra Joy TV. Welcome. Today I am absolutely thrilled to be with Dr. John Demartini. Dr. Demartini is one of the greatest, most committed, transformational leaders of our time. He is a human behavioral specialist and founder of the Demartini Institute, a private research and education organization dedicated to activating leadership and human potential. A little bit more about him I'm going to read. He's an internationally recognized author and business consultant who works with CEOs, entrepreneurs, psychologists, and people like you and me. He teaches all over the world and literally is on the road over 360 days a year, which is almost unbelievable, but I know him now and I know it's true that he travels all the time based on his highest values of teaching, writing, and researching. Did I get that right? One of his most well-known courses is the Breakthrough Experience, which I have participated in, and it is phenomenal. He shows us how to transform all areas of our life in that course while providing us with greater levels of fulfillment and personal empowerment. So it's, again, an absolute joy to be with you today. On a personal note, he's provided me with so much clarity and empowerment as an individual and has contributed to me personally, to the people that I touch, to the people that I interview, because I bring a lot of his methodologies into my life and they live me. It's not even just a technique. They actually are so powerful that I have implemented them into all areas of my life, which is the point of the Breakthrough Experience. Today we will be discussing, hopefully, some of your incredible journey. Why core values are so crucial for us to determine in our lives, and what you see next, Dr. Demartini sees next for all of us in our journeys towards growth, integration, and alignment. And I am really interested to discover what your view on the evolution and the future of the human potential movement is. I know you've been doing this for a very long time. And basically, where are we going in this movement called personal development, human potential, whatever you want to call it? So I'm going to start. Again, welcome.
Thank you.
I know it's a big intro. Do you mind if we start just talking a little bit about your personal journey? You write about it in your books, but for our viewers, I wanted them to hear how incredible your journey has been.
All the way back to...
Well, let's start when you were a teenager, because I know there was a really incredible time, 16, 17 for you?
Well, at 16, I was living in Hawaii. I was living on the North Shore of Oahu. I was living in a tent, and I was sort of a surfer, early 70s, late 60s surfer guy, and surfing every day. And I was not living ideally, and it eventually caught up with me, and I nearly died. And luckily, a lady found me in my tent. I was unconscious, and she helped me recover and led me to a little health food store called Vim and Vigor on the North Shore of Oahu in Haleiwa. And that one day leaving that store, I saw a little flyer on the door introducing a speaker named Paul Bragg. And it was at this little yoga class. Now, I didn't go to classes. That wasn't my thing, because I dropped out of school. But something about that flyer and something about his picture that made me go, you know what? I think I need to go there. So I went to this little talk. There were 35 people sitting on a wooden floor. There was a yogi, a woman yogi.
What year was this?
This is 72.
Okay.
And she introduced this gentleman, white-haired gentleman who is at least 80s, who spoke for about 50 minutes. And in that 1 hour, this one man with his one message, that one night, got to me. And till that day, I never really believed that I would do much other than surf. And I was told in first grade that I would never read, write, or communicate, never amount to anything, never go very far in life. But that night, after hearing him speak, it made me feel different. And I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, I could be intelligent. I could maybe learn how to read, because I never read till then. I had learning problems.
Until 16.
no, this was almost 18, 17.
Oh, right, okay.
I was living in a tent 16, but 17 is when I met him. And so that night I saw a vision in a little meditation he took us through of me being intelligent and me teaching. And all I can say is that ever since that night, which is 42 years plus, that I've had a dream to travel the world, learn as much as I can, share as much as I can, and try to do what he did for me. So I don't think I have anything else I'd rather be doing more than that.
So would you say, we're going to get into the whole definition of values, the importance of values, but what do you think you actually determined your values the way you teach it now, that night?
Well, not the way I teach it now.
Or during that time, sorry.
Not the way I teach it now. I have a better, broader understanding of it. Yeah. But somehow his presence, his certainty, his congruency, his dedication gave me permission to enter into that domain and inspired me to believe in new possibilities. I think I had a void of wanting to be intelligent, but I never believed I could until that night. My sister was intelligent more than I was, and I always thought that was for her. So that night when I saw that vision, I wasn't expecting that, of what I wanted to do. And it was pretty lucid. So I felt like that's the path.
And so just to ask a question about that specifically, do you think that those values or that insight was in you from the beginning, and that you were awakened to it that night, like it was always there? Or was it some kind of illumination or something that shifted you into it?
Well, when I look back now with the tools that I have now, I can see that there were indications of some of the things that I'm doing today then. But I don't think I was ready for that. I think I had certain things I had to go through and lessons I had to go through before I was ready for that. And I think it's been an ongoing evolution to it. I don't think it's like I now have this complete epiphany of what I was destined to do. I just knew I wanted to teach and I wanted to learn. But that unfolded more as the years go on. And it continues to unfold as I learn about myself and about the universe. So, but I definitely envisioned myself a teacher. And I had it painting. In fact, somebody gave me the vision that I saw. And,
really?
Yeah. That's
You
the
just happened to have it.
A famous painter in Melbourne, Australia, heard me speak about this, and he made a painting out of it.
Well, you can't really see this, but it's you. Is that the Vatican?
No.
Well, where is that?
I think the
But
painter,
it's kind of New York, Central Park.
It's all the great cities of the world woven together, but me speaking to a million people.
Okay.
So that's the vision that I described, that I saw that night. So I described it to this painter, and he painted it.
So.
And that was given to me today. To get back to her, I got to give it back to tomorrow.
So, okay, I'll give that back to you. So you talk about in your work, from my understanding, that that kind of vision that you had would have arisen from, you call it voids, that from your childhood. So can you link that up for us, that you had that vision based on something, or am I getting that?
Well, when I was born, I had a leg turned in and an arm turned in. And I had to wear braces as a child till I was 4. And when I was 2 and 3, my mom used to take me to a speech pathologist because I couldn't speak. And when I went to elementary school, first grade, my teacher's the one that told me, look, he's not going to read, he's not going to write, he's not going to be able to do this. So I had learning problems. So I think that void was part of the drive. I think the braces made me want to be free and travel. Yeah. I really think that everything was on the way, not in the way, but I didn't see it at the time. And I look back at all the events in my life, I can look back now and just say thank you. They didn't seem that way during the time, but I can see it now. So I really believe that there was something that was unfolding all the way back call it whatever you want, but I just think that there was something there that was yearning to express itself. And I just think that that night he captured it, primarily because of his authenticity. He was a sincere man who was dedicated to well-being and health. He initiated health food stores all across America with like 1,000 stores. And he was very dedicated to well-being and living maximum potential. And that night, myself and everybody in that room was deeply touched, brought to tears, and had, I guess, epiphany or a vision brought to their awareness. And that picture was what I saw. And so I've been working on that vision ever since.
So would you describe what you had? You said vision. Could it also be described as a breakthrough?
Well, I broke through a boundary about my belief about myself, for sure, because I didn't believe I was going to ever be intelligent. I dreamed about it, but I never believed I was going to. I assumed I was going to make surfboards. There was a guy named Dick Brewer on the North Shore who made surfboards. I assumed that I was going to help him out, and try to anyway. And I was not a great surfboard maker, but I tried my best to try to make them, and I was learning. I figured sooner or later I'd master it. But I just wanted to surf at the time.
So can you define for us what you think a breakthrough is? How do you describe a breakthrough?
A breakthrough is the breakthrough experience is my seminar program.
Yeah.
But having people break through is anything that they see in the way, I've been blessed to figure out a way of helping them see it on the way. Anything that they see is baggage, I show them how it's fuel. And anything that they see as chaos, I show them how to find the hidden order in it. And anything that they have emotional baggage about, I show them how to turn it into thank you, I love you. So the breakthrough is breaking through all those things that tend to hold us back and help us move forward. I would say that he gave me a breakthrough that night. It's not exactly what I do, because I've learned things along the way too.
Yeah.
But the net result is that every person deserves to do something extraordinary with their life, and I think he helped me do that. I've been blessed to do a much more empowered and extraordinary life as a result of meeting him.
And so would you say that having someone with a strong intention like he did, and like you have when you're teaching and in front of people, helps in that process of like that personal breakthrough that then, you know, really shifts your entire life?
Well, all I am is thankful
Yeah.
that I met him, and I've wanted to do the same thing for as many people as I can. And I think that I've seen enough thousands and millions of people being impacted by that, so it gives me encouragement that I can make that difference. I think we all want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And we want to do something meaningful in our life. And the thing that makes my life more meaningful is watching people's lives change. So, and figuring out the solutions on how that can happen. So finding out and developing technologies that help people break through whatever it is that's stopping them, emotional or things that they think happen in their life or whatever it may be, and helping them see the other side, see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's very inspiring to me.
Yeah, because the way you describe it, there's such a level of freedom that you can experience if you were to link that everything you've been through, like you described, is on the way, you know, in your past, is on the way.
Yeah. I'm a believer that there's a hidden order in our life, and if you ask the right questions, it's revealed, and you can say thank you. I always say anything you can't say thank you for in life is baggage. Anything you can say thank you for is fuel. And so I try my best to help people see how to look at their life as not some sort of error, but something to say thank you for.
Yeah.
And I believe I've developed methods that I can reproduce and do and share with other people, and it works. And so I'm very inspired to be able to do that.
So one of the methods that I've experienced with you is the grief, your distinction around grief and how to contextualize grief. So on a personal note, I know that you've lost your wife to breast cancer, correct?
Yeah.
How did you have that process? Did you use your process during that process?
I actually used it before she passed, while she was passing, and after. until there was just a deep appreciation and gratitude for having the opportunity to spend time with her and be with her.
And by the way, it's an extraordinary process. I've never experienced in any modality I've experienced.
I believe so, because I can make a statement that is shocking to most people, but to people who watched it and observed it and experienced it's not
incredible.
Shocking. That there's no human being that has to live on the planet with grief more than 2 to 3 hours ever again on planet Earth. That's how certain I am about it. I've taken probably 1,200+ people through the death process and grief process. It works every time. Once I figured out how and what grief is and how to deal with it, it's simply a science of dissolving it. And I've gotten to work in Christchurch during the earthquake.
Yes.
I got to work in Ishimaki in Japan after the tsunami. Worked with people from Phuket after the original tsunami back in 2004. China over its earthquake. I've worked with people that have had multiple families, multiple people in a family that's killed. Once you understand what grief is and how it's a withdrawal symptoms from things that you're infatuated with about a person, and know how to ask the right questions, you can help a person.
Infatuated with about the person that
they're
passed.
grieving over. Yeah.
Right.
Once you go through the process, you feel the presence of the person, you feel love for the person, you feel grateful for the person, you feel communicative, and there's no grief.
And you describe it, well, I experienced it in the breakthrough experience, that you actually can get to the other side and feel pure love and affinity.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
And I've had many skeptics I had 2 skeptics in London that were just came in just to see it. And they were scientists specializing in that field, and they were sitting there with their arms crossed and skeptical, and they wanted to interview the person afterwards, and they couldn't elicit any grief out of them. They just, because it's gone.
You mean after the process that you did with them in the course?
And they go, well, will that last? And I go, yes. And they go, that's outside our box. It's outside our comprehension.
Right.
Because I said, well, that's because you're still in an old model. I've introduced a new model, and I'm trying to get it out to people.
Well, there's a lot of service providers that, their business is based on solving people's grief over years. So it's not good news for them.
Yeah, it's not good business for them.
If it goes away in 3 hours.
Yeah, I basically give people, I said, I'll spend 3 hours with you. If it takes less than that, I'll charge you for my time of 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever it takes. Yeah. But I won't charge you more than that, because I've never seen it take more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I just tell them that. And they go, you're not joking. I said, no. And if you ever have anything that surfaces that we didn't get to address, just call me and I'll add that in there, because I'm absolutely certain it works. So.
Yeah, I saw it. So I saw it work with someone that you did it with. So it was amazing. So a question about this whole, I call it a phenomena, and people still live this way, that they listen to the voice inside their head. Now, 15 years ago, you couldn't say that without even asking the question. You'd be the crazy person. But you know what I'm talking about when I say the voice inside our head that we think is us. How do you interact with people in your work to kind of integrate that? Because I have a particular commitment around us all getting that we're not that voice, that we're actually much more than that.
Well, some great philosophers had an inner guiding principle. Mm-hmm. Dante had Beatrice, and Plato had an inner voice, and Swedenborg had an inner voice. And I think that there's a difference between the inner voice that's inspired and the voices,
correct,
which are dissociations from usually traumatic experiences that are compensations for our perceptions that are imbalanced. And you have to make a distinction between the voices and the voice. Mm-hmm. If you have to ask the question and you have any degree of uncertainty whether it's the voice, it's not the voice. Because there's
that inner voice, like the integrated inner voice.
The inner voice is an inspired, lucid knowing. Mm-hmm. And the other is a dissociative compensation for misperception. And once I make the distinctions and show people how to make those distinctions, and then show them the tools as I do in the breakthrough experience, on how to dissolve those things that split them, they eventually come to the voice, not the voices.
Right.
And actually the voice is them.
Yeah.
There's nothing dissociated from them. It's just the part of them that knows.
Yes.
And we have a knowing inside, a Gnostic construct. And we have an agnostic component, a part of it that doesn't know. When we live congruently with our highest values, we tend to wake up that knowing. When we live by the injected values of others and attempt to set goals that aren't really ours, and we strive for something that's not really ours, the unfulfillment that I have in our life and the ABCDs of negativity that we experience in life make us dissociation and have little voices to compensate for how we're feeling about ourselves.
And the ABCDs are?
Internal anger and aggression, internal blame and feelings of betrayal, internal criticism and challenge, and internal depression and despair.
Okay.
These ABCDs of negativity are compensations for setting goals that are not ours, or setting goals that aren't balanced, that defy the laws of the universe, or the ones that we don't have strategies to achieve because we haven't been congruent with our highest values and they activated the executive center to set real strategies to achieve things. So when we do that, when we don't set up goals that are congruent, we end up having the ABCDs negativity. That feeling makes us dissociate to compensate for our feelings, and these are the voices. That's what we call brain noise.
Yes.
All of our brain noise is imbalanced perspectives that are there to make sure we leave nothing in our life that's not loved. So anything we haven't said thank you for in love is remnants, the subconscious brain noise.